रेडियो जिंदगी 92.3 FM HD2 पे वेलकम लिसनर्स, मैं हूं आपके साथ ईरा। शो लेके आए हैं द शाह पीराली लॉ शो, ब्रॉट टू यू बाय द शाह पीराली लॉ ग्रुप, इन विच वी आर वंस अगेन joined by attorney Shah Peerally, who is the founder, president and managing attorney of the Shah Peerally Law Group, which is headquartered right here in Newark, California. And he's a member of the American Immigration Lawyers Association as well as the State Bar of California. He's a passionate advocate of human rights, civil rights, social action and social services, and he has a strong interest in and knowledge of the political/legal system in the U.S. He formed his law group to work on the causes that he feels most ardently about. The law group focuses on immigration law with an emphasis on employment-based immigration. And attorney Shah Peerally and his team, they help clients all over the U.S. Their offices, like I said, the headquarters is right here in Newark, California. There's another office in San Francisco and one more in Washington, D.C. So West Coast, East Coast, and everything in between is covered. So if you know somebody or if it's your case that you'd like to discuss with them, immigration, employment-based immigration or family immigration, anything at all, get in touch with them. You can call us right now during the show on the studio number 510-657-1170, or you can also get in touch with attorney Shah Peerally's office. Call right now as we speak to make an appointment, 510-742-5887. All the information is available on the website peerallylaw.com. That's PEERALLYLAW.com. Let's get started. Attorney Shah, good morning.
Good morning, Ara. Good morning to all the listeners. And, of course, today we're going to talk about immigration law. For a few weeks, we have been kind of replaying some of the shows, but now hopefully I'll be able to do the show live. So today we are September 29, so the show is live, so you feel free to call us if you have any questions.
Attorney Shah, I'm sorry, I'd like to interrupt. Your voice is going in and out. It's not steady, so you're fading in between.
You're right. Maybe I have to change my device. So
this is loud and clear.
We'll take a quick break. Oh, you can hear me now?
Yes, this is.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, perfect. So what I'm talking about is hopefully now today is September 29, and we are going to talk about immigration. And feel free to call live. Hopefully I will be able to answer your questions. And before I start, anything I'm going to tell you today is my opinion. You should not act or refrain to act solely on the information provided. And of course, Ira, you will be giving the phone number for the studio line. If people want to call and anything related to immigration, feel free to call. I will try my best to at least give you a quick answer to your questions. These are not completely legal advice, so if you want a full legal advice, please give us a call at the office, 510-742-5887. 510-742-5887. So, Ira, today, as you know, we have seen some good stuff coming from USCIS, especially the visa bulletin situation for the dates for India has been going up and up for Eb3, and now, unfortunately, it seems the honeymoon is over. We are going to see a backward drop now. And a lot of people are kind of worried because they downgraded to Eb3, and if they go backward, that means they won't be getting their green card soon. However, they will be able to keep their EAD and advance parole. Now, the question is that everybody is asking, will Eb2 overtake Eb3? It is possible. I don't think it will happen exactly, but it can come around the same. So if you're on Eb3 now, don't try to move. If you downgraded to Eb3 and your I-140 has already been approved, I will not recommend going back to Eb2 and try to upgrade it. Many people get confused. They think they keep both. No, you don't keep both. Once your I-140 is approved under the Eb3, you are on Eb3. If it is pending, you're still on Eb2, you can always cancel the Eb3, which I will not recommend also without talking to an attorney, and you can call me and I can go over your case. But Eb2 categories, employment-based categories number 2, will keep moving steadily because what has happened is very obvious, right? a lot of people moved from Eb2 to Eb3, which means the pressure on Eb2 has been relieved, and Eb3, the pressure has been increased. Almost 120,000 applications, but the estimate is a lot more than that. Some people believe it's 260,000 applications. So because of that, you're seeing a delay in everything. But at the same time, so many things happening at the immigration level, not in a good sense, okay? A lot of people are having hope on all those bills. I never had hope on them because, as I mentioned before, until I see them, I would believe them. I've been an attorney now for 18 years, and since 1997, no bill came from Congress for immigration, really a bill. And the last one was IRA, which, what a coincidence. IRA, so it's your name. It was called IRA, but this one has two A's. And IRA was not really good for many people because it covered a lot of issues.
I'm sorry, that just sounds very wrong.
We love you, but it's not about you. It's the law. It came in 1997,
right,
and it made a lot of criminal convictions that ultimately can get people deported. So. Since then, the only good things you have seen was under Obama administration, all were done under executive power, which means there was no Congress involved. So now a lot of people had a lot of hope, and I mentioned this before, and I'm not trying to be cocky or anything about it, but I doubt any bill will pass. Okay. Unfortunately, the media make a frenzy because they get a lot of readers, and the lobbyists also make good money, so they will always tell you, yes, this will happen, but it never does, because until we get a Congress which is pro-immigration, nothing is going to happen. And right now we don't have one. Even the House of Representatives, which is a majority of Democrats, they are not really kind of willing to do a lot of things. And some do, but not all of them. As for the Senate, you can forget about it. They can't even pass a bill for Americans. So imagine if they will pass something for immigrants. They're pretty much useless, and I say it openly. And this is my opinion, by the way. Now, what happens next? Now, the question is, will Biden pass any kind of executive order like Obama? I doubt it, too. He's not really pro-immigration without being against it. So his issue with Biden right now, what he's facing is something very, very kind of interesting, I should say. He is sandwiched between a rock and a hard place, because if he gives too much on immigration, he will definitely lose some of the moderate conservatives, right? But if he doesn't doing enough for immigration, the progressives are going to be against him. So finding the balance is going to really be the key, and I don't see Biden really kind of doing anything about it. There are too many things happening right now. For one, of course, we have the situation of the COVID, which is a major one, and two, we had just the situation of Afghanistan. And also, we have now the famous picture we saw of the people from Haiti. I don't know how you pronounce it in French. It's Haiti, and they speak French. And actually, the interesting part is that the language they speak, I speak kind of similar language. It's Creole, right?
Okay.
So, and unfortunately, those people, they have been going on crisis after crisis. Since a long time, Haiti has been one of the countries that has suffered a lot, and they always get all kinds of calamities there. They have earthquakes, they have cyclones, they have, you name it. And the truth is that this was one of the most beautiful islands, and there were the few islands in the past where slaves were really controlling, and I think that's the one that a lot of people didn't like, so they started creating mess there. So, just to go back in history, then now problems are still happening at Port-au-Prince, which is the capital of Haiti, And now people are running to Texas, and we saw what's happening in Texas when they're getting beaten up by the CBP officer on a horse. That was a horrible picture. It gives me the impression of back to slavery when they were beating people running after them. So this is causing a lot of heat on Biden, and he's going to lose a lot of votes on that. As for Kamala, she's not really doing much for anybody. So I don't know. I really don't like Trump, and pretty much I voted against Trump and voted for Biden because of that. And I had a lot of hope, and I think a lot of things he did good. We have to admit it. He did very well for the COVID. He did very well for many average Americans, but for immigration, he has not really been great. So we have to admit it, but we still have time. So he has almost 3.5 more years to go. So a lot of things can happen in between. So let's hope that he's going to be really kind of receptive to the immigrant community. Now, the problem that Biden has is, unfortunately, many in the Indian community actually supported Modi, etc., included, supported Trump, right? So he doesn't really have an incentive to do anything for Indians because they were not, although a lot of them voted for Biden, mostly the citizens who were here and were progressive, but many voted for Trump. And that's one thing that is now really kind of making all of us suffer because there's no incentive from the part of Biden to really help the Indian community because he doesn't see any kind of return for him on that. He already has a majority of the progressive with him who are already citizens here. Now, he doesn't really need any kind of other support. So putting all this together, I don't see any good stuff happening for India on the visa bulletin. And now the next thing that we need to know, can you hear me properly?
I can hear you properly, yes. We have a caller.
Do you have a call?
Yes, we have a caller. Let's see what they'd like to ask you. Hello, you're on air with Attorney Shah Peerally.
Yeah, hi, this is Vikram here. So I want to say that the problem with the Biden administration is that they really are not interested in the highly skilled and educated and law-abiding immigrants like us, and their only appeal is towards the Hispanic community that is crossing over the border, the illegal immigrants, the ones that break the law.
Sir, one second. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Okay, can you?
I'm sorry to interrupt. We thought you had a question to ask Attorney Shah. Listeners, if you please no bashing over here. If you only have a question about immigration.
We're not bashing, we're analyzing here. And I don't want, it's not really fair to be so openly racist. We are all immigrants the same. Either you're Hispanic or you're not better. Just to let the caller know that Hispanics have been here a lot before us, okay? So
yeah, I mean, I like how you say it's not good to be openly racist. I don't think we should even be closely racist. Listeners, if
exactly. Well, there was I was listening to a French comedian, and they asked him, "Are you racist?" He said, "No, I'm not really racist. I'm just like everybody." He said, "Oh, really?" He said, "Everybody's racist."
Everybody's racist.
It's true. Everybody's racist. But the truth is, being racist in the terms like putting one entire community on the line. And I know the caller, he always calls pro-Trump. He's one of those, not only pro-Trump, I think he's one of those, those wacko Republicans. So let's just leave it to that. And
totally.
I don't really want
while we're at it, let me remind listeners, if you have any questions about immigration for yourself or for somebody else, any immigration-related question, you can call us right away on 510-657-1170. That's 510-657-1170. That is the studio number where you can call and ask one question about immigration, one or more, anything. Employment-based immigration or family a case of immigration, call right away. Otherwise, if you'd like to discuss something privately, if you'd like to discuss your immigration case privately with Attorney Shah or his team, call on the office number to make an appointment. You can also call right now as we speak. Office ka number hai 510-742-5887. 510-742-5887. Please go ahead.
Yes, indeed. And, this is the thing. Like I said before, I'm not pro-Biden. I'm definitely not pro-Trump. So no matter what, I still prefer Biden 100 times than Trump. let's put that here. But that's my choice. But I have good reasons for that. It's so obvious, Right now with the COVID is a very good example of those nudge job that talking. I don't know. I look at Texas. It makes me feel like, okay, are we in Texas, or it seems like back in some kind of weird island where people are not very, very, I don't know. I don't want to say anything, but they're not really seeing reality, right? So, and the problem is that the immigrants becomes the easy target, that all the blame's on them. I don't know if you noticed. Now they're even blaming COVID on immigrants, right? I think Florida is one of them, and they are even planning to file a lawsuit saying that I saw that, I don't know if they are going forward, that because of the immigrants, COVID has spiked there. But the truth is that COVID has spiked there because they don't want to wear masks. They don't want to do any sanitary stuff. They're not even believing there's COVID, but they're suing that, saying that COVID is. It's really nonsense. And as much as I don't trust the government 100% when it comes to the vaccine, I think there's something going on there. But the truth is that, at the end of the day, that's the only thing we have to actually have some kind of normal life, quote unquote. There's no normal life that is coming anymore. Everything has changed. Hopefully, we will be able to survive this, but don't expect life to be as it was in 2018. That's not going to happen. Beginning of 2019, not even 2018. I still get nostalgic when I think about it, but it's a new world. We got to adapt, and we have bigger problems coming. Any caller?
No, there was a line blinking, and I think their call got dropped. So while we're at it, listener, if you're still there, if you would still like to speak to Attorney Shah, just call us right away. Call us back on the same number, 510-657-1170. 510-657-1170. Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much. So let's continue. Yes. Going back to the situation, I don't expect Biden to do a lot, unfortunately, for the Indian community or even for the immigration. So, because the problem is that he's stuck, right? And if he does too much for immigrants, it will look bad on him. But the truth is, he will do for immigrants, probably the Hispanic community, probably for the other communities, but the Indian community, the biggest issue, as I mentioned, we had a good example. Many of them supported Trump, and if he rewards them, it will be just like looking like, we're rewarding the group that kind of went against us. But the truth is that many also did support him, so we are hoping he will find the balance and put it out there. So I knew this was going to happen because this is politics. You can't support another group and then expect to get something with this group. So it is basically payback time for him. That's what we're going to see. But they tried their best to let some people in, and that started actually under Trump in October. But now, like I said, the honeymoon is over. We're going to start seeing retrogression, which I was expecting, and I don't know, for those who have followed the show, my YouTube channel, I was talking about this. Everything that goes up has to go down, okay? No matter Biden or not, it would have happened. But now the question is, what can we expect in the near future? I think what we're going to expect is, this is again my opinion, I think the Eb3 will move down to up to 2012 probably. And then it will stay there for a long time. And ultimately, if they get more applications, you're going to see it going more backward by next year, but not right away. And again, I might be wrong. The next visa bulletin will tell a lot of things, because we were expecting the October visa bulletin to bring the Eb3 up and then bring it down after that. But it went down even before the visa bulletin, and they have announced also that it won't really go up now for Eb3. So just be ready for that. And that's one of the reasons we have been pushing people to still rely on the EB1. I had many clients who signed up with EB1 with us and then say, oh, no, I'm not getting, I don't need it anymore because my dates are becoming current and it's a waste of my time. And the truth is that you just wasted something good, because EB1 is current. You would have gotten a green card, and now with EB3 you'll be stuck. Even though you're able to get a work permit or an advance parole, that's all you're going to get. So make sure that you make the right decision and talk to us if you need help. 510-742-5887. Anything on your side right now, Ra?
No, absolutely. 510-657-1170 is the studio number, and the number that Attorney Shah gave out is the office number, 510-657-1170. Office ka number 510-742-5887. If you have some time, Attorney Shah, would you also like to talk a little bit about the the non-support that's happening in Florida about the catch and release immigration policy? Because there in the southern border, they've been facing a lot of problems for a long time. So that's the thing, right? I mean, what policy may be applicable or may be suitable for one place may not be suitable for the other place. So do you want to talk a little bit about that one also?
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute, but I just wanted to mention something that is happening. The American Immigration Lawyers Association, AILA, is filing a lawsuit for asking the USCIS to allow people who have filed an extension of their EADs under H4 or L2 to be able to work. As you know, the extension that you do for adjustment of status, while it's pending, you can continue working on your EAD on the I-765 EAD if you file another I-765. But for H4 and L2, you're not allowed to do that. So once your EAD expires and you file a new one, and if you're already in that situation where you're waiting like many, you cannot continue working, and that's a problem. And there's a lawsuit coming up, and when AILA takes a lawsuit, usually they win, so hopefully that will change a lot of the situation, because many, many people are losing their jobs, losing their income, because, the EAD is lapsing, and they're not getting a new one, and even though they applied like almost 6-8 months ago, before it even 6 months before it expires. So let's see how the USCIS is going to react to that lawsuit. I'm expecting hopefully that will change for the better, and people who file for the EAD will be able to continue working instead of having to stop when the actual EAD expires. Yes, you have any questions on this, or we should move on, talk about the catch and release and situation like that? Although it's not really something I really deal with a lot, but we can talk about that if that's something. Any questions?
I know we don't deal with that a lot, but then talking about that also gives people perspectives, gives all of us perspective about what's happening, and the kind of reactions that we get. I mean, I know Indians or the South Asian community doesn't really have to deal with that one a lot, but I think it's still important to talk about what's going on in immigration, any aspect of it. I mean, honestly, as such, even DACA doesn't affect any of us over here, but still.
Yeah, most of our communities are employment based, but there is a huge, not huge, but quite a substantial amount of people who cross the border, right? And depending because they want to come to America, so they go to Mexico, etc. Now, the problem is the practice is a little bit tricky. It is unfortunately is that they will allow people who who get caught in, okay, if you cross the border, you come to the United States illegally, they have a right to arrest you, and they will, right? Or if you come at the border and you don't have any papers, they will just put you in custody. It's a mandatory thing. You have to go in custody. But what was happening is, while the case is in court, since it takes years, they will release those people and let them continue their lives until they go for their hearings, etc., etc. Now, under Trump, they were not really doing that, right? They were blocking people there, and then they will not let them, they would put them in custody, even children, etc. And that has its good and bad. Well, it's bad, actually, to be honest. It's more bad because, for one, when you do that, someone who's an immigrant, most of the time, they are not criminals, right? They are just trying to get a better life, right? And few of them are criminals, very, very few. We are talking about probably less than 1%. Mm-hmm. So by just jailing those people, and many of them end up into regular custody, you're basically creating criminals out of them because they have to defend themselves in those jail. Although they have those detention facilities for immigrants, it's sometimes they have to send them to other places. So now if you keep those people until the hearing is complete, we are talking about almost years, right? Some of those cases go for 10 years, 12 years. I had a case which I started in 2006, and it ended up in 2014. Yeah, 2014. So it takes long. So if someone has to stay in custody that long just because they cross the border, it's very unfair. Now, the problem in releasing now the other side of the coin, if you release people in their community, it is, well, just the thing is like, before I go there, keeping those people in custody costs a lot of money to the state and to the United States, because each prisoner probably costs around $60,000-$70,000.
Wow, okay.
And the prison system makes the money, but the taxpayers have to pay. So it is not really good for the immigrant and ultimately for American citizens for paying from their pocket. Now, on the other side of the coin is, oftentimes when you release them, some will not show up for the hearing. They will disappear and never come back. They will just try to make a life. Mm-hmm. But most people do show up for the hearing, just to let them know. So at the end of the day, I'm against it. I'm not against, I am for the catch and release because it has its own advantage. You're not really putting a hard criminal behind bars. These are immigration violations. And number two, it's costing a lot of the taxpayers' money. So better do that. It's better to let 10 guilty go free than put one innocent in jail. That's one saying from an English judge a long time ago, a British judge. It is, I personally think that's a good idea to just catch and release because it's the right thing to do. Now, if people are found to be criminals, who are drug dealers, murderers, etc., no. You don't want to release people like that in any community. So that's my take on that, and I don't know really how things are going to unfold now because I'm not really following up on it. So tell me if you know anything else on that. Or
No, absolutely. Just wanted to know what your take on that is, and just wanted you to shed some light on that. Excuse me, listeners. We have about 25 more minutes to go. So if you have any questions right now, is the time. Any immigration-related question that you'd like to ask Attorney Shah, you can call us right away on 510-657-1170. That's 510-657-1170. Or if you'd like to get in touch with Attorney Shah and discuss your case privately, you can call on his office number even right now and make an appointment बाद में बात करने के लिए. उनका नंबर है 5887 5107425887 और ये सारी इन्फॉर्मेशन आपको मिल सकती है उनकी वेबसाइट पे peerallylaw.com. That's PEERALLYLAW.com. So, about the green card and the backlog that we were talking about before, there's so many people who were thinking that, the backlog which had been there for decades, for so many years, that's going to be cleared this year, but there's, seems to be major disappointment. I mean, immigration ke naam pe, just by that name immigration, people get so traumatized. Just the other day, somebody actually wrote to me that, the whole process actually sucks the whole energy, the whole, the entire energy and enthusiasm out of our lives. We're not really able to do anything else because we have to focus all our energies on the immigration cases. That's what's happening.
Yeah, indeed, exactly. That's the thing. I've seen this. I've seen people pretty much losing everything.
In fact, one of the articles when I was reading before, in that it also said that Indians, South Asians, but Indians especially because that's the biggest backlog, who were waiting for green cards, and they were hoping that decades-long backlog might actually end this year. Instead, of thousands of slots might even disappear, and it would not work for them. We have a caller. Let's see what they'd like to ask us or speak to you about. Hello, you're on air with Attorney Shah Peerally.
Hi, thanks for taking a call, Mr. Shah. I had a quick question regarding green card processing. So I want to know, I currently have my labor under process. So during the labor or at the time when the labor is approved or when the I-140 is filed or in process or 485 is filed or in process, if I travel outside of U.S., is there an issue that would happen, or would that jeopardize anything?
Yeah, well, if you travel while the case is pending and you don't have an advance parole, technically you have abandoned your adjustment of status. The advance parole protects that. Now, usually people who are on H-1B, if they travel, they can get a stamp of H-1B and come back on the H-1B, but that doesn't guarantee your adjustment of status is protected. So I don't recommend people traveling unless you have your advance parole approved, even if you're not going to use advance parole.
Okay. So at the time of the labor approval happens or when I-140 is filed, it's okay to travel during that time, right? Or when I-140 gets approved or even before that. It's only when the I-485 is filed, that's when it's not recommended to travel, correct?
Exactly, because the adjustment of status is basically, in simple terms, you're telling your CIS is that, hey, I'm here already. I don't want to go outside to get my green card, so process it here, adjust my status. So the rule is simple. Since you're here, they're giving you that opportunity. They don't allow you to leave until they process that for you unless you have some kind of permission, and that permission is advance parole. So that's how it works. So I-140 is fine. You can travel while spending. You can even file I-140 when you're outside the country. But an adjustment of status, I-485, you don't have this luxury. So that's why they created the advance parole to allow you to travel. And without an approval of that, you should not travel.
I see. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay.
So the very interesting question, because I get that all the time. So when should you travel? Yeah, you can travel later once you get the advance parole, but I don't recommend you do that beforehand. So I will highly recommend wait for your advance parole, even if you're traveling back on H-1B, because at a later stage, if they allow you in, they have a full right to say, hey, since you left, you abandoned that adjustment of status. So be careful on that. So any other caller?
Actually, one second. I think this line's ringing. One second. Let's see. Oh, yeah, their line got dropped, but because sometimes with listeners it happens that if Attorney Shah is talking, is speaking to somebody else, and if you have to hold on, the line might get disconnected. So you can just call us right back on the same number, and you will be in the extend line. 510-657-1170 is the studio number, and the office number is 510-742-5887. We have 20 more minutes to go, so if you have any question, you can call us right away. Let's continue, Attorney Shah.
Yes, so indeed we were talking about the situation with the visa bulletin because that's what really everybody's worried about. Now, one thing is happening right now is that a lot of people who filed their Eb3 downgrade or filed their case in October now have reached more than 6 months. 180 days have passed since they filed all their case, and now they are trying to move to new pastures, which is completely allowable under the AC21 rule. I think it's 104C. But the thing is that you have to meet you need two requirements. Number one, 180 days has passed from the date of filing of the I-140 or the adjustment of status, whichever came last. And number two, you have to move to a same or similar position. And that's the part where it gets tricky because oftentimes now many of those positions are not really relevant, but you still have to prove that you're moving to a same or similar position. So it is very important that when you're doing the case that your lawyer analyze that part for you, or even if your lawyer, before even the lawyer analyze for you, your company or you should analyze it, because you can't, for example, have a case pending, an adjustment of status pending as a doctor, and then you're moving the case to be a lawyer. And I'm giving extreme example here, but the truth is that even in this case, is small differences can actually cause a denial of the portability, which means you're moving from one company to another. So be careful, and if you need help, give us a call, 510-742-5887. Any caller right now?
No, Attorney Shah.
Can I have heard something?
No, we can continue.
Okay. So bottom line, when it comes to the situation of the portability, which means moving from one company to another, why do you have to do that before you get the green card? It's easier because after you get the green card, you have to work for that company where you got the green card from, unless you move the case from company A to company B under AC21 portability during the supplement J. So remember, this is major because at the end of the day, if you are going to change company and you don't file the supplement J, they might give you the green card, but ultimately at the citizenship level, they can block your citizenship. So be very, very careful on that and make sure that you, like I said, you talk to a professional. And here I am a lawyer licensed in California, practicing mostly immigration law, federal. So you can give us a call, 510-742-5887, 510-742-5887. Anything on your side, Era?
No, absolutely. Whatever you've been sharing here today, it's very valuable information. All of us only see what the media has been telling us, but when you tell us about your viewpoint, we also get to see what professionals think about it, because you take, you and your team, you do immigration cases day in and day out. So it's actually great to get your perspective as well. So thank you for doing this.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Ara. That's nice of you. Well, the truth is that now we are in an age of information. Unfortunately, more and more we are getting just either sensational stuff or pure lies or fake news, as we call it. So you have to understand, many news media outlets, they need to sell. They need to have readers. And sometimes they will just write something to stir up your blood, but the truth is very far from that. For one, I saw them making that big fuss about those appropriation bill, and it never went through. So many things are happening in not only into the immigration, but in the world. we have the COVID, we have all the stuff. So you need to be careful when you're filing any case now, because sometimes it's better to have a job with a lower pay but with security. They will maintain your green card rather than just jump on any offer. And I see that very often with my clients. Oh, I got this beautiful offer. I want to move there. Yes, you can, but make sure you do it properly. So that's the part which is the interesting part. Yes, Sarah?
No, I didn't say anything. I was just agreeing. I just said, yes, I agree with what you said.
Oh, okay.
Now, I don't want to interrupt you because, when whatever you're sharing over here today, it's so valuable. I really don't want to interrupt. Please go on. Do tell us what you think about these current topics. Especially the nightmare, which has been going on.
Yeah, the nightmare has been there since forever, pretty much since the system was set. So now, but the hopes goes up and down. Ultimately, people do get their green card, but it does take a toll on them. By the time I see them, they look very young, and then when it's done, they don't really look so young. So that's the thing that we have seen. But most people who came to America know full well, especially from India, that this is the system. It's been here. It's not like they are new to this. This is something that has been here and will be here for a while. So they need to learn to live with it. Like some politicians say, we have to learn to live with COVID. But what we are seeing now is some hope that came, right? And luckily we saw a lot of hope in October and up, where things went up for Eb3 and even Eb2 went up. So the entire system is not set really to protect the immigrants, but it's set to protect the United States, its economy, etc., etc. They are letting people in because they need people for jobs, etc. But at the same time, you have to understand that this is just a privilege. So we come to America with the hope of great hopes, but at the same time, we know there are a lot of hurdles. It's not an easy ride. And yes, it does take a toll on a lot of people. I heard some people just give up and go. By the way, if you leave the country, you go, it doesn't mean the case is completely gone. So as long as your company still wants you or you're working remotely, you might actually do things pretty well. So it is important that people know that we are facing the COVID, we are facing pressure from anti-immigration groups, and we are facing climate change, which is causing a huge number of migration, people moving from their homeland, and they will be moving to America, to Canada, and things like that. So this puts a lot of more pressure on the system. Now, one of the things
I'm sorry to interrupt you. We have a caller who'd like to speak to you.
Yes.
Hello, you're on air with Attorney Shah Peerally. Please go ahead.
Hey, hi, Shah. I have one question.
Yes.
I wanted to know, so last year I did my Eb2 to Eb3 downgrade I-140, and so far I haven't received the EAD and AP, and recently I did my premium processing, which got approved. So I wanted to know, the EAD AP depends on I-140 approval, or irrespective of that, if you have already filed your I-485, you should get that if your date is current.
Okay, good question. No, it doesn't depend on the approval of the I-140 because it's an independent thing that goes with the adjustment of status, I-485. But bottom line, it can have a negative effect depending how. But at the end of the day, it is the I-140. So your question was, you depend on the I-140 when you had your Eb3, right?
Yes.
Hello?
Hello?
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm hearing you kind of far. I didn't hear the whole thing. Go ahead.
Yeah, so what I was saying is, since original my I-140 was under Eb2, but then I downgraded from Eb2 to Eb3, and that downgrade I-140 was not approved until recently when I did my premium processing for that. So my question is until my I-140 become approved for Eb3 category, will I get EAD or AP? Does the EAD and AP depends on the downgrade I-140 approval?
Okay. No, it doesn't. Just to repeat that, I think I answered that part. So I thought there was another part in the question.
Oh,
no, it doesn't. No. However, when the I-140 gets approved, it kind of give a signal that they can proceed with the rest. But in normal circumstances, no, it's totally independent. As long as it's filed with the adjustment of status, filed properly. And just to let you know, everybody's getting delayed on this advance parole, and I'm expecting some lawsuits to come on that. So just be patient, and you should get your stuff soon.
Yeah, because I have seen some many cases with who has priority date of 2013. They have already received it, and mine is 2012, but I haven't received anything yet. Even with the same service center and everything.
Which service center?
Nebraska.
Nebraska. Well, what you can do, try to do an inquiry and also service inquiry, and you can even request a congressman to help, but they're not helping much on this anyway. But you can try. Okay. But at the end of the day, some people are waiting still. But I would highly recommend you have your lawyer make a request, or you do the request yourself. Okay?
Yeah. So we opened a service request, and it's been 30 days, but there is no reply to that service request.
Yeah, they don't really give a reply, but you should get your EAD soon. You might even get your green card. They might be processing the green card, because I've seen few people getting their green cards too. So just be a little bit patient, but you put your service request, wait 60 days. If you don't get anything, put another service request. Okay?
Yeah. Okay. So are they going by priority date or the application date? When you say you may get a green card instead of your EAD AP, so is there any order which? Sorry?
Mostly the priority date. Yeah. Lower the priority date, I think they're issuing the green card. But I'm just saying that out of my feeling. It's nothing. I don't have any proof of that.
Okay, I see. Because recently, USC has already also started sending this I-693 courtesy reminders.
Medical.
Yeah,
yes, that's a good thing you're talking about that. I'm recommending people just to send the 693, even if it is not requested at this point. Just send a copy of your receipt, I-485 receipt, and make a cover letter, and make sure you tell the doctor if in case you need an extra copy, you will request it from them. But you can go ahead and actually put your medical, send it to the USCIS, okay?
Yes, I already did.
Okay, good. You did the right thing. And that's how things are going to get moving, because if you look at their memos, they were encouraging that, okay? Good luck to you.
Yeah. All right, sure. Thank you so much.
Okay, hopefully you'll get your EAD soon. Okay?
Yeah,
take care.
Hopefully, yeah. Thanks.
Okay, bye. Any other caller?
No, that's about it. Thank you very much for calling in. And listeners, if you also have any question, let me remind you, we have about 6 more minutes to go. So if you have any question, right now is the time. Call us right away on 510-657-1170. That's 510-657-1170. You can also get in touch with Attorney Shah Peerally and his team on the office number 510-742-5887. Get more information on the website peerallylaw.com. That's PEERALLYLAW.com. Yes, Attorney Shah. I think any a recap if you want to discuss, because we have about 5 more minutes. Or a recap or anything else that you
we'll do a quick recap, and we'll tell people to be patient with the visa bulletin. We are going to expect a retrogression, so don't panic. give us a call. We can analyze your case on a personal basis, 510-742-5887, and we will guide you as best as we can. Now, just before I finish, as usual, we're going to talk a little bit about the H4 abuses cases and the petition we have online, because a lot of people are suffering and things are getting worse with the economy going down. More and more people are getting separated, getting divorced, etc., etc. And what happens to their spouses? Actually, few organizations interviewed me on that a few weeks ago, and I told them, unfortunately, the problem is that if someone is emotionally abused, there's no provision in the law to protect them, like the U visa when you're physically abused. So I recommend people to first sign our petition online. It's on my name, Shah Peerally, and you will see how the abused H4 visa holders. And also make sure you write a comment so that we get an idea. It's on change.org, okay, change.org. And I recommend people also to call your congressman, etc., and let them know that this is happening very frequently. A lot of especially women are getting abandoned, quote unquote, by the husband because things are not working out for whatever reason, and now they're stuck. They don't know what to do because either they go back to India or they find a solution to fight here. So we're hoping good stuff will come if we push it. So I recommend that you sign our petition and help us and support us in this endeavor. And we want people to understand that just because you're not an H4 visa holder, it doesn't mean you should not support us, especially for those who are not U.S. citizens. Especially, I will recommend you support us for this, because if we get enough votes, enough signatures on the petition, we might ultimately be able to make a change on this, like we did for the H4. So I kindly request that you make sure that you support us on this attempt to kind of change the law and make sure people who are being abused, mentally especially, still get a chance to stay when their spouse is on H1 visa and they are on H4. So just make sure that you talk to a lawyer to check on your cases. And just now I'm going to pass on to Rika. I think we have another 2 minutes to go, right, Tyra?
3, yes.
Yes. So I just wanted to tell people right now is like, just to close on the other side, please support our petition by signing the petition on change.org, H4 abused spouses. So now to close the show, I wanted to tell people, make sure you hire a lawyer to do your case. Don't just hire someone who's a non-lawyer, because first of all, it's illegal unless they are a family member. And number two, many of the people who go to those so-called consultants or whatever, they end up into bigger messes. I've seen few cases lately. I don't know how they're practicing, but those guys, what they're doing, they're just pretending to be immigration lawyers or something, and they're making people. So double check with any lawyer you're dealing with that they are real lawyers. Just don't take their words for it. So having said that, now recap the visa bulletin. We're going to see a retrogression coming. I don't know exactly how much, but I expect it to be at least probably another 1 year. So it will bring it to 2013, and Eb2 will go up. So let's see how things unfold on that. And saying that now, I wanted to thank you, Ira, for really kind of helping us all the time to put the shows together. And thank you so much for listening, all of you. We'll be back next week, same time, and wish you all the best, and take care. I'll be back next week. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here, Attorney Shah, and thank you, listeners, for tuning in. Remember, you can call the office number 510-742-5887. That's 510-742-5887. And the website is peerallylaw.com. That's PEERALLYLAW.com. So that's the website. where you will get all the information about how you can contact Attorney Shah and his team and what are the areas that they can help you in. So, do log on to the website. And meanwhile, stay tuned to Radio Zindagi. Attorney Shah will be back with us next week, same time, same place. Stay tuned. Jiye ja.